Welcome everyone to your local barista's favourite football podcast, the Onlyfanz Football Podcast. On today's episode we discuss the current situation in Leicester. We have our inaugural Euro Trash, Euro Treasure segment. We chat about the return of the Premier League and discuss fancy football in this week's Get It Out, sponsored this week by Alberto Moreno. We hope you enjoy the podcast wherever you're listening, and be sure to follow our Instagram, Spotify and YouTube. Take it easy. Hit it, Stevie.
My spidey senses tell me this is gonna get fucking tasty, baby.
I will love it if we beat them. Love it.
There's a slice of cheese, Minico Gianopoulos.
I have a dream.
Arnie, cut!
Bardler.
The fella in the green and white shirt.
The guys up in the joy have asked to be put back in their cells.
If you stop waffling, we might get some work done.
He has the goop, lad. He has the goop, lad.
Get out! Get out, Man United!
Origi!
Torres to give Chelsea a place in the Shane Long has done it!
Let me add a little bit of spice to that.
Is he a fucking spice?
My grandmother had wheels, she would have been a bike.
I think I'm a special one.
I'm the normal one.
I never knew Stoke were that good.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Onlyfanz Football Podcast, for the fans, by the fans. I'm going to introduce myself, Kieran.
And I'm going to introduce yourself again, as I do every week. You're Cran to me. You to me are everything. You're Cran McGrath. Yeah. I don't know the rest of it. But yeah, welcome. I'm Adzi.
And we are here today. It's a very special episode. Not because we're special, but
we are special.
But the Premier League is just around the corner. The league that has just hyped up every year for the last 20 years to the point where everyone watches it.
Whether that be good or bad.
Whether it be good or bad, you know, we're seeing clubs go broke left, right and centre, so I don't know. We'll see. But right now we're going to focus on it this week. It's a big talking point we have coming up on the show. We have on the show
for you, Americana. Coming up on the show today. Now, coming up on the show today, we're going to predict the Premier League. We're going to predict the top 8, and it's 8 because there's so many European spots, isn't it? We're going to predict relegation. We're going to predict the top scorer, the young player of the year, the player of the year. We have our inaugural episode. I like saying the word inaugural. I've noticed that. Inaugural episode of Euro Trash versus
Euro Treasure.
I like the way we did that. Where we're going to talk about the League of Ireland clubs in Europe. I think we have to talk about that. They've been doing great. And we're going to talk about Jose and Roma, and like we'd be remiss to not talk about Messi.
And the big transfers.
And the big transfers, of course. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about in the show.
So I'm going to ask you now, how was your week, Adam?
I had a great week, Gran. I actually, you know what, I had a really good weekend. It was started off, like, I feel like every time we record, this is a Monday, obviously. And I feel like every episode so far, I've just literally talked about League of Ireland football. Because that's all I do. Like I literally have, like, I have a group of mates, I have football, and that's literally it. So all I do is go watch football and go for drinks with my mates. So anyways, went to watch Shells on Friday, and they drew 0-0 with UCD, but it's a good backstory to it. So like a few of the players were with COVID or whatever. So the team, we missed like a lot of players. I think there were 6 players out. So it was like a makeshift back 4 and goalkeeper. So the young
like Liverpool last season.
Yeah, well, Liverpool finished third. Yeah, and we finished ahead of Chelsea. Wow. Yeah, so we had an 18-year-old Jack McCarthy in goal. Remember the name, because I say 18 years old. 22. You were 21 20. Next month for anyone who's won one.
I'm not that old yet. Don't worry.
So it was a great achievement from him. It was a great game. He started off slow and then he came into it, but we ended up drawing the end, and the scenes at the end, it was as if we won the game 4-0. Genuinely, it was as if we just absolutely hammered them. We didn't. They didn't really play us off the park. We should have got the win. Really, we had better chances. But yeah, Jack McCarthy, what a performance, and everything in the league. Like at the start of the night, going to the game when you're hearing the news about the players being out, whatever. Cork were, I think, away to Galway, and Cork are brutal. They're bad, like. So the thought there was that Galway were going to win and close the gap to what would have been 6 points, and then 3 were at home to Cabo. But both of them lost and we drew. So instead of it being 6 points, it went to 10 points. And it was just as if for a change, everything just went in Shell's favour.
You're storming the league. What's it? How was Mimos again? I heard you're at Mimos. I seen that the Mimos Dublin follow the podcast on Instagram. Tell me what happened.
So they nothing really happened, to be fair. We were just in Mimos again, and
shout out to Mimos.
Shout out to Mimos. Future podcast to be what's the word? Sponsored by Sex on the Beach from Mimos. Yeah, it's a great spot. Honest to God, it's a lovely spot of Dublin, and I'm proud to be a regular. Would you say a regular?
Yeah, I'm proud to print stickers on their fucking in their jacks.
The jacks, but like, I mean, come here. If you're having a slash, right, and you're by the urinal, and you're just looking around, and I mean, we've all been there. Someone stood beside us in the urinal, and like, you don't want to like look down.
Away.
You look away, but instead of looking away, you can both look at each other and then like look up at the urinal, the cistern, and be like, oh my God, that's a fucking football podcast. Let's all follow that.
Where it belongs, in the cistern.
It does belong to the jacks, to be fair. And yeah, so the stickers up there, and yeah, and then yesterday there was a few. Had indoor points yesterday for the first time.
Fuck off, really?
Yeah, we watched Middlesbrough and Fulham have a dreadful game of football. That's why they're bound the championship.
And talk to the Austrians.
Yeah, talk to Austrians. But yeah, other than that, it was a good week. What about you?
Me? Well, I have to say, remember we were talking about Michael from Colester a few weeks ago?
Oh, you wouldn't give us a lift to Colester.
I drove past Super Value of Colester and I was like, I'm in Colester. Where's Michael? Where's
Dirty Michael?
But
Dirty Michael and Dirty Cran is a crossover we need, isn't it?
Yeah. Not really, but I was off to Colester anyway. I went to a party, and well, it just brought back memories because I was at the same gaff about 2 years ago.
Okay.
I went into the Super Value of Colester. At the time, I didn't know it was the Colester Super Value.
Oh, okay.
But maybe just everyone's weird over there because of Dirty Michael and his influence.
Yeah, well, it could be something in the water.
But passport.
And by the way, before we get on, no offense to people from Colester. Yeah, like, not everyone's dirty from Colester. Don't listen to what the papers say.
But no, I went into that same Super Value about 2 years ago. Right, I was 18. I was fully legal. All right, two mates outside.
Yeah,
just chilling on the wall eating a Chinese or whatever. Okay,
food or a person? Sorry, we've had coffee. We're in giddy mood. Go on, sorry.
Shout out to Break and Brew Coffee of Cabra for providing us with free coffee. Yeah,
that's not what the card said.
No, only best. No, but I went into this Super Value anyway. Okay. Went in to get cans for two lads. Oh, just Heineken. Oh, you know, okay. To add a bit of detail. Okay. But I went in to get Heineken for myself. I don't know, a few nuggets for the lads or whatever. Brought them to the counter. The man's like, ID please. I was like, here you go. Being nice, being, you know, how I am.
Friendly.
Yeah. This absolute snob. He goes, and what about the two lads outside? What about the two lads outside on the wall eating a Chinese? What about those two lads?
What has Ireland come to? What has Ireland come to? You can't even buy a drink for another person anymore.
And I was like, this is all for me, pal. And then he was like, no, I'm not serving you.
What?
So there you go. Never trust a person from Colester. There you go.
That's the moral of the story.
That's the moral of the story.
Fucking
not even
hell.
Dirty Michael.
And for anyone who's listening and hasn't seen Cran, he's like the great Cal Lee. He's like 7 foot tall, like, and he looks like he's about 23 and has a mortgage. There's no way you should be getting ID'd. Yeah.
This was about 2 years ago, to be fair.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, alright. Well,
but like,
you're still quite tall then.
Bit of a joke. Like, I was just wanted a few cans of Heineken. I had to rush off about 40 minutes down the road to get a few cans after that. Because Colester's in the middle of nowhere, let's be honest.
That's why Dirty Michael wanted a lift. Oh my god. This is going to be a long episode, isn't it? we start with the Hall of Fame? Get that done and dusted, will we?
Yeah, the Hall of Fame this week. Thank you all for the entries so far. Actually, Connor Salmon's gone up on the wall.
Yeah.
I think Sex on the Beach is on its
Sex on
way.
the Beach will be up there momentarily during the week, I suppose.
Yeah, thank you very much for all the interaction on the posts Adam is putting up.
We genuinely, as truth God, I know we're after being laughing like Cheshire Cats there. Like, we do appreciate the sport and all, don't we?
Yeah. And people are watching it and enjoying it, which I didn't expect. So, thanks very much. And yeah, this week our 2 entries.
So my Hall of Fame pick this weekend, anyways, we just spoke about him not fucking 2 minutes ago. I'm gonna go with the 18-year-old in goal for Chelsea, Jack McCarthy. I genuinely think, as far as performances go, I've never come out of a game more happy to draw a game.
And did he make a few good saves? Yeah, I presume so.
Well, I mean, he started off shaky, as you would, 18 years of age. Like, there was a free kick that came in on him, and like a more established keeper probably would have caught it, and he palmed it out. But he didn't. Like, I wouldn't say he struggled really. He made a great save, like with about 30 seconds left, and Joe was one of them, right? So the left winger shot, and it went through his legs, right? And it looked like it was trickling in, and it was like something out of, I don't know, like a drama film or something, like Rocky Balboa, you know, like real tense, and he just like
Hawaii 5-0.
Yeah, he just like pulls his hand behind his back and just dragged the ball before it went across the line, and like the crowd, like I've heard crowds cheer less for a goal than when he done that. Like everyone was supporting him, so he's my pick this week, Jack McCarthy, Shell's keeper, 18 years of age.
Yeah, and my pick for this week is Patrick Mcalleny. His goal against Vitesse Arnhem, as Adam says, where lone players go to die, Chelsea lone players go to die. His goal against Vitesse was absolutely
saucy.
I was going to say a different word, but I don't know if I could say that on Spotify.
You probably can.
Yeah, I was going to say orgasmic.
Oh yeah, well that's alright.
Lovely chip.
It's only natural.
An absolutely beautiful chip. It looked like he was just going to go left foot, bang, but he just absolutely
drags it back,
fainted onto the keeper. Gorgeous chip. I'm sure Adam will put it up on the story maybe.
Yeah, I'll rock it up on the story, yeah.
And that is my Hall of Fame. So
I think that's our strongest Hall of Fame pick so far.
Yeah,
because there's no spoofing about it. These are genuinely good things for the Hall of Fame. Like last week I had a bleeding cocktail in, and the week before we had a story about a bouncer who may or may not have looked like Connor Saville.
I did. So Patrick Mcalleny against
Jack McCarthy of Shelbourne.
There you go. So this week we are having an inaugural segment, the first ever segment the first ever edition of this segment, Euro Trash versus Euro Treasure. And
what a week it's been. I feel like there's a bit of a course in this podcast where when we leave, something tends to happen that we like, and then like by the time we get to the next one, it's kind of not relevant. But like, I suppose you could put this in the Euro Trash, I suppose, whichever way you see it, but we have to talk about Messi.
Messi, yeah.
Unbelievable. What do you think?
Unbelievable, Jeff.
Unbelievable, Jeff. There's been a sending off Chris Kamara, and who for who? I don't know, Jeff.
But 50% pay cut he was offering to take, apparently I was reading by some things.
Yeah,
now I don't know what 50% is to him. Is that like $500,000?
Well, I believe he was being paid 100 million, and they offered him 50 million like wages or whatever, and that's what he took, but they still couldn't sustain it.
Yeah, now if I was Messi and I really wanted to stay, I would have taken a 75% pay cut.
Well, I mean, he's not struggling for money.
Yeah, so it is kind of his fault. If he wants to stay so badly, you take a big pay cut.
I know there was a lot of, I don't know whether you looked at the press conference. I didn't. I looked at snippets of it, and like, I'm not saying it's disingenuous. I feel sorry for him because this is his boyhood club. This is the club he loves. All this, but if he really wanted to stay, you would imagine he would go, fuck it, give me less money.
Yeah.
But I think the wage structure at Barcelona, like, seemingly now, I don't know whether this is true or not, but seemingly their wage budget is compatible to that of a mid-table Premier League team.
Okay. And
Messi's the one that brings it like up to whatever. And now whether this is true or not, I don't know, but you'd imagine it's not, because like they have players like Frankie de Jong, they have, Pjanic was seemingly on a big wage bill, Depay, Aguero. These players aren't coming cheap, and I think the problem is they're offering these big wages and they just can't pay them. Yeah. And in this case, with the likes of Aguero, Depay, this is what they're getting, and I don't know what's going to happen with them, especially Aguero. You would imagine he only came to Barcelona on the basis that Messi was staying.
And he's getting a flight back to Manchester. See you, lads.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But no, I think it's ridiculous as well. Like, it's probably more complicated than just, take less money. He probably has to go through a load of loopholes. Like, we're saying that as if we know.
Yeah,
we don't know.
I mean, we're not in the Barca board.
So
we're like,
it is ridiculous that he can't stay on.
You'd be like, we've been led to believe over the years that he's a massive tax dodger. You know what I mean? And I don't know the ins and outs of that either. But like I've seen a lot of people online complaining about the fact that like, poor Messi this, poor Messi that. Like, you have to remember, and I love Messi's my favourite footballer ever. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have a bad word to say about him. But you have to remember, not too long ago, he was looking to get out of the club. He was crying to get out of the club, and he couldn't because his release clause was 700 million, and no one could pay it. And now he's crying because he's leaving.
I think that was intermingled with politics though at the club as well. You wouldn't know what you actually felt about it.
Yeah.
And you can see he's genuinely emotional that he's leaving.
Yeah.
So you don't know. God bless him, and hopefully he'll be alright going to PSG, the land of money.
Yeah, I think. Do you know what? I think if he goes to PSG, like we talked about PSG last week, obviously, for those who listened, bit of continuity. Yeah, like I mean, if he goes to PSG, they're shooing for most things, aren't they? They're shooing for most things in general, but I think if he goes to PSG, the Champions League's wrapped up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I don't know. I just think it's a bit of a. I feel bad for him, I do. But I mean, if he was that upset about it, why not just take another pay cut? Or you know what I mean? It might be that simple.
Yeah.
It might be that easy. So who knows? I think his future does lie in Paris, though.
Yeah.
Poor Messi. Poor Leo. Not Leo Varadkar. Fuck him. Up the nurses. But we're going to chat about Jose Mourinho and Roma. What do you think about that? We had it up in the story last night.
I just seen it on the story. I was like, that's fucking gas.
It's hilarious.
It looks like he's being sent off in a 5-2 friendly against Betis.
How do you lose a game? First of all, 5-2 in general. Like him, the most pragmatic manager in the world. And then he gets sent off and he gets 3 players sent off. It's a fucking friendly. You know what I mean? I've seen more friendlier games down the fucking Phoenix Park. It's disgraceful, like.
Real Betis. That's the team in Sevilla. Funny enough, that's the rival team in Sevilla. So I was in Sevilla once.
Okay.
They had all Betis stuff. It was no Sevilla.
There's no Sevilla?
It's obviously Sevilla's associated with the king or something.
Okay.
There's all sorts of politics, but I didn't even know Betis were from Sevilla. It's never talked about.
But they have really nice jerseys.
But they are from Seville with Sevilla. So there you go. Anyway, Euro treasure this week. What are we going with?
Well, we have to go with the League of Ireland clubs, don't we?
The League of Ireland clubs in Europe.
And of course, St. Patrick's. No, come here, look, what a week for Irish clubs in Europe once again.
I was in work the day of the Bows getting 12 to 8, got off a bit early, and I was like, I'm paying the €10 subscription. And I went home to watch it, and you know what? They're just playing some absolutely beautiful football. The first team are anyway. And I think it's all down to Dawson Devoy. He's a fucking fabulous player in that midfield, breaking up the play at easy.
Ali Cute, then he got 2 goals as well. He looks a good player. The thing for Bows, and this is what it's been for a long time, and people will say it to you, and especially with Keith Long because he does a great job, but they struggle to hold on to these players because they just get so good.
Yeah.
So I think I was saying to one of the lads tonight,
development club.
Yeah, well, for lack of a better term, and I don't like the term, but like a feeder club in a way.
It's sad though, because they are.
It is sad, club. And you would like from a Bowes point of view with this team, and teams they've had like in years gone by, it's one of the better teams they've had.
It's very good.
And they kind of like you get to a stage where this team's so good, they have to win something. Like it's all well and good getting a few days in Europe, and look at. I'm in the first visit with Chelsea. I'd much prefer a few days in Europe. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. It's a great result against PAOK, anyways. Wonderful result.
Now, if they get into your conference league, you're looking at a few quid as well. So
they're looking at a few quid now already. Yeah. I'd say they're firmly in the money.
Good stuff.
Now I would say.
And obviously the Dundalk. We talk about Mcalleny.
2-2. What a result though.
Yeah.
Away in Holland. The Dutch teams are very good.
And I presume Dundalk are coming back to Aviva as well, are they?
No, I think they. I don't know now. It's I don't think it's Aviva. They might be an Oriel or they're in Tala. I don't think they'll be in the Aviva.
Yeah.
I think it is Tala. I think that's where they'll play their
Tallahassee. Straight out of Tala.
California.
California.
You're 19. Shut your face. 5 eggs per bloke per day. That's the best thing to come from Tala. And I know Cormac, if you're listening, mate, Cormac, if you're listening, the Corminator, we'd love to have you on the podcast, but I don't know what you talk about. I don't particularly like eggs that much.
You talk about being on California, and then it'll leave.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking about Tala, Rovers won 1-0 as well. Like in the last minute.
Yeah. Was that the Europa League qualifiers?
No, I think it's the Conference League as well.
Why did they get fucked into the Conference League? When
Because
they were in the Champions
they
League?
lost the Europa League. I think they lost. I don't know whether they were in the Champions League qualifier.
They were in the Champions League qualifier.
Well, it's
and they got fucked
I'm
out.
fairly certain it's the Conference League now they're playing in those. But they only beat some fucking Farmers 1-0 or something in the last minute.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what the team is. No disrespect. I don't know what the team's called, but there's
one of the players is Dwight True, and he lives on a beef farm.
Michael Scott at left back. Here's a few stats for you, right? Just on League of Ireland clubs in Europe. Stop looking at me. League of Ireland clubs in Europe this season, right? Games won 9. I'm trying to be serious here.
Go on.
Games won. Games won 9. Games drawn 3.
Sorry.
Goals scored 26. Right, now this is the one that annoys me.
Yeah.
How many of these games have been on telly? How many of these games have been on RTE or Virgin?
They don't care.
0.
Yeah.
The last League of Ireland game on telly on RTE was the 7th of May. Now what the fuck?
I tell you what, it's that Darren Maloney fella. He wants to present the Olympics.
Peter Collins. No, come here. I think that's disgraceful.
It is awful, isn't it?
I remember when I was really young, 2004, 2005, and I was going to to watch Shells against Deportivo and Haddock Split. Cameras everywhere.
Yeah,
it's an Irish club. Now I know it's the Conference League compared to when Shells were doing it was the Champions League, but I mean it's an Irish club in Europe.
Yeah.
Why isn't there cameras there? Why isn't there coverage of it? Like
Rory was at that game as well. The
yeah,
Deportivo.
Yeah, he was. You know what I mean? It breaks my heart. Like it does. Genuinely, it does break my heart.
Yeah.
And look come here. I don't particularly want Bows to go through, Rovers to go through, or Dundalk to go through, but they at least deserve as much to be on telly, to show off the league, because this is why people don't like the league, and they're doing as good as they've ever done in Europe.
It's not shown enough.
It's not shown enough.
Not there's not enough effort being made with it.
No.
You're dead right. Since we're talking about Euro treasure, a quick prediction for the Super Copa.
Go for it.
I think Unai will hold us to extra time.
Oh wow.
I'm going to go with a 1-1, and I'm going to go with an extra time win for Chelsea.
On penalties or in extra time?
Lukaku, last minute, 120th minute, winner.
Hits it in with his arse.
Barcelona.
Yeah, leave my arse on it. That's a good fancy football team name. That, by the way, that's coming up as well. I think Wednesday's going to be a great game. I like the Super Cup, particularly because the last time we played, we beat Chelsea on penalties. Adrian, that's the best thing Adrian's ever done for Liverpool as well, by the way. I think it'll be a good game Wednesday, and I like Villarreal. And come here, in the Europa League final against United, it was just a magnificent final. It was a great final. Penalty shootout was great. I think Chelsea will win, but I'm just going to be contrary because I don't want to be saying the same things. So I'm going to say Alberto Moreno in the 85th minute is going to score, and Villarreal will win 1-0.
I'm very hungry for Chelsea to win the Super Cup though, because I think the last 2 times we were in it, it's been unsuccessful. Haven't won it yet. It's fucking annoying.
It's a trophy.
You know?
It's a trophy,
and I think
it's there to be won. Like
it's one we need to win. So yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting back watching, and we'll move on.
So now the meat and days of the podcast, the Premier League predictions. We were talking about coverage of the League of Ireland. The Premier League has almost too much coverage. I thought you were going to say it. We're like Ant and Dec.
I'm not in that wavelength yet.
And I just think, a lot of coverage for it on every channel that you can almost see.
And Onlyfanz is no different.
And we have to get on the hype train.
Yeah.
But I do think, like I said, we talk about the League of Ireland as much as we can, because like I know you're in and out with Bows I'm a regular match goer, so we kind of have to talk about it. You know what I mean? I'm not slagging it there either, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We kind of have to, and we'd be remiss to not talk about it. So, yeah. So the Premier League predictions. What do you want to start with? We start with relegation, or
We'll start with the relegation clubs.
what are you thinking?
I think 20th. I've gone in this order. I don't know. I don't really care about the order, but I've gone Norwich, Watford, Southampton, and for the reasons being Norwich. I don't know if you want to get in on this. Do you have Norwich in yours?
I have Norwich. You see, we talked about Norwich, and I have them 17th.
Grant. So I'm just going to talk about Norwich briefly. I think they did well. All right, they did very well getting up again. The manager has had a year of experience in the Premier League now. He might have wised up a bit. I don't know.
No.
But I just think this squad and what it is now, they've lost Buendia to Aston Villa. It's going to be a very difficult season for those players because they have a few new players. Adam's going to talk about the Irish ones. They have a few new players. Billy Gilmore's one that's moved from Chelsea. I think is very promising.
They got Kieran Dowell as well. He used to be with Everton, and obviously, like most players, Everton had a terrible time. But no, he's a good player as well. I think he featured for them a lot. I don't want to make a dog's bollocks of this, but Andrew Alma. Oh, wow, can you say that?
Andrew Mcalleny. That's what I'm going to go for.
Almo Bamile and Adam Ida, 2 Irish players.
2 Irish.
And I'd like to see them. I'd like to see them featuring. I think one of the left backs is very good, or one of the full backs. Sorry, for Norwich is very good. I can't remember his name right now. I just think Norwich will stay up. I just think, like you will have imagined that they will have learned from their mistakes.
I don't know who's your 20th place for.
I have Watford 20th.
Watford, yeah. I have them at 19th. So
okay, so will I?
Yeah, you lead with Watford.
So I think, looking at Watford here, and we were talking about it earlier. Their manager's name is Zisco. He's Zico. And I'm not being rude. I've never heard of this fella before in my life. But we were looking at like their squad, and I think like in midfield they have Will Hughes, very good player. But again, I don't know whether he's good enough to be any use. They have Troy Deeney up front, so we hope he does terribly.
Barla.
They have Ismaila Sarr, who I think will get a move and potentially to Liverpool.
Yeah.
They have Emmanuel Dennis and Isaac Success, both from Nigeria. And here's the thing, just suppose Sarr, Dennis and Success all play regular football for Watford, because look, I don't know whether they do or not. All of them will be out in January for the African Cup of Nations, and I think that's crucial, because if you're like Liverpool will be relying on Mane and Salah, so we need to reinforce in an attacking sense. But with these players going to the African Cup of Nations, that can turn their season like that. It can really. Yeah, it could be dangerous. They have Ken Sema of Sweden. No, I don't know either. They have Josh King of Norway. Again, we know Josh King. Josh King's a former Bournemouth player. He's kind of established Premier League striker for a time.
He's kind of muck, in my opinion.
He's not great, but I don't think sometimes maybe good.
Sometimes maybe good.
And he was with Everton last year, so again had an awful time. And they have Andre Gray as well. So they have got good attacking options. I just don't think they'll be good. And I think the best thing about Watford in general is Elton John. So I think it's gonna be a long time for Watford this season, because they're gonna go down.
Right, so we've both gone for Watford. I've gone for them in 19th. Adam's gone for them in 20th. And your 19th is?
Southampton.
I've gone for Southampton at 18th. We're going with the same teams.
Yeah, I think I've won. I think we differ only on one.
Yeah.
So maybe we're not that clueless. No, we are. Yeah, I just think Southampton squad's too light.
Too light, yeah.
Absolutely.
And Walcott's about 34 running down the wings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think we're looking at well, briskly walking, because he gets injured if he runs. I think the thing with Southampton is they have to replace Ings, so we don't know who they're going to get to replace him. I just think the squad's too light, and with Fofana getting injured for Leicester, the rumour going about is that they're going to go in for Vestergaard. And if they go in for Vestergaard, that leaves Southampton with Bednarek.
He was decent.
He's not bad, but like, I mean, he has no one to play with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just think they're very light. I think, look at, again, another problem with this is it's the 9th of August. The transfer window's open until I think the 31st of August or September,
yeah,
4th September.
A lot of work to do.
There's a lot of work to be done. So all these predictions could be redundant within 2 or 3 weeks.
Absolutely.
But I don't think Southampton will invest. And I think Hasenhüttl, what's it? Hasenhüttl, yeah. Hasenhüttl. I just think he has too big of a job in his hand, and I think Southampton will go down.
Lovely manager though, but I think you're dead right. The squad is probably one of the worst in the league at this point.
He's like Diet Jurgen Klopp, isn't he?
I don't know that now. He beat Jurgen Klopp last season, so give him a bit of respect. We'll move on to your 18th position, last relegation place.
So just to run through, you have Norwich, Watford and Southampton to go down. I have Watford, Southampton, and this might surprise a few people, and I'm going off the basis for all my predictions that Harry Kane leaves, okay?
Yeah.
And I think finishing 18th will be Wolves. I think Wolves will go down.
Wow.
I think Wolves will be a surprise for a few people. I think last season they struggled. Season 4, of course, they had Europe and that.
And Nuno's not there anymore.
And I think Nuno could easily dip his toe in the pond of Wolves. And if he does, suppose he takes Jimenez and Traore, they could be in trouble. But they have a solid back line. We'll see what happens. But I don't know. It could be a tough season for them.
Anyway, we'll move on swiftly. We might talk a bit about Brentford and then move on. So
I think we have to. Because we wouldn't be here without Ivan Toney scoring in the playoff final.
This podcast was probably named after Ivan Toney, or at least inspired by it.
If anyone's listening who has a similar name to our podcast, if it all goes tits up, we're gonna call it Onlyfanz. Just letting everyone know. I think Brentford could struggle.
Yeah,
I think it's a tough season for. I think it'll be okay. They spent years trying to get into the Premier League. You know what I mean? Like Leeds before them, they spent a long time. Now, obviously, completely different clubs, history, etc., etc. But it's been a long time for them coming up. And I think Ivan Toney last season, I think he got 32, 33 goals. Every single one inside the box. For Ivan Toney, he's unproven at this level. They have, obviously, Norgard and Jensen, both Euro semi-finalists with Denmark. They have a few good players, like even Janssen at the back. Oyer, good. He was good at Celtic.
Lovely player.
You know, I just think maybe one or two signs, and again, there's 2 or 3 weeks of the transfer window left, so you can't just disregard them. Yeah,
I'll end with this on Brentford. To be frank,
hey.
I trust Thomas Frank.
Hey, okay,
there we go.
You're a poet.
We'll move on.
You're like Dirty Michael. Dirty Thomas.
That's a different type of poetry. Top 8, everyone. So we're going to move on to the top 8 of the Premier League. We'll skip the mid-table. Everyone knows that belongs to Burnley. We'll skip the mid-table. Top 8, Adam. Who are you going with?
So, will I just read all of them out, yeah?
I think 8. We'll start with 8. We'll start with our 8th to 5th place, and then we'll go to the top 4.
So I have... So just before I say 8, again, based off Harry Kane leaving, I think Spurs will finish 9th. I know... We're not going to touch on them too much, but I don't think Spurs will be in top 8. I have Leeds at 8. I have Aston Villa at 7th. I have Leicester finishing 6th, and I have Arsenal finishing 5th.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think that's very, very bold, putting Spurs 9th. I think I wasn't expecting that. Villa, I think will have a very good season with Ings. I would have probably Leeds now. I don't know about them. It's hard to know. Because Bielsa's a lovely manager, but I don't know. Far up. I think Leeds finished 9th last season, so it's not really. No.
It's not a big difference from last season for them. I think a lot of people, and actually, funny enough, we put up a poll last week about wildcards for next season. A few people said Leeds will go down.
Yeah.
Like a few people did say Leeds will struggle, and like you look at Leeds' squad and. It does look kind of thin. But the first 11, the way Bielsa sets them out, they're very hard to beat. It's non-stop football for them, and I think Conference League for them would be good. I think it'd be a good achievement for them.
Hopefully.
What about your top 8 to 5?
8 to 5. I think it's quite similar to yours now. I wouldn't have Arsenal that far up. So my top 8 will be Aston Villa in 8th. I've gone 7th. I've gone Arsenal.
Okay.
6th I've gone for the Spurs.
Okay.
And 5th I've gone for Leicester.
So we'll touch on Spurs there, right? Just because you have them 6th. Is this based off if Kane stays? Is it?
It's not even based off if Kane stays. I just look at their squad, and I think it's a lot. There's a lot more depth to it than people think. You know, I think Nuno he'll be able to get the best out of him with the 5 at the back. I think. You
say that Jose had them top the league for a while.
He did. He had them for a while.
He had Spurs believing that they were going to win the league.
It did go tits up though.
You know, no, it did, and that's that's justifiable when you have teams like Liverpool and Man City who are just much better than them.
Yeah.
And obviously United as well finished ahead of them. I think there's real potential in the Spurs squad if Kane stays, but I just don't think Kane is staying.
Yeah.
That's just my main problem with it.
Well, hypothetically, if Kane leaves, you could see them down 7 or 8, but I don't think they might. I don't see them finishing as far down as that this season.
Well, that's fair enough.
I think Nuno will do alright. It's all a guessing game, as you said. So I've gone Spurs 6th. I've gone with Arsenal 7th, which might be a bit of a surprise, but they finished there last season around there.
No, I think they finished 10th last season. They didn't get Europe.
Yeah.
This is
so
a big
7th would be a good result for Arsenal, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, it's
because
up the table.
I am predicting Mikel Arteta to probably get sacked halfway through the season.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he's cut out for the job whatsoever, and I think last season he should have been sacked.
I agree with you to an extent, and to be honest, he's only in the job because he's friends with Pep. But I just think Arsenal will have a lot going for them this season in the sense that they've no European football, and I think with no European football comes now midweek responsibility. And like Liverpool in 2013-14, we finished second that season, second or third. We had no European football, and players like Lacazette and Aubameyang, when they have one game to focus on, they could potentially be better.
Aubameyang has not scored a goal in the pre-season, and I just look at Arsenal in comparison to Spurs as manager. You know, Nuno, I think, has a lot more credibility as a manager than Arteta because he's experienced.
I don't particularly rate Nuno that much, to be honest.
You don't rate him though.
No, and I'm not. I don't want to contradict you. I think he's a good manager. I'm not saying he's better, or I'm not saying he's worse than Arteta, but I don't think he's as good as what you were saying he is. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I'll just recap our 9 to 5. So you go first.
Working 9 to 5. We're gonna call that our Dolly Partons. That's what we're gonna call it. Yeah, from 9 to 5. My Dolly Parton is Spurs to finish 9th, Leeds 8th, Aston Villa 7th, Leicester 6th, and Arsenal 5th. And yourself?
My Dolly Parton is 8th. Oh yeah, I'm not going to do a 9. Fuck 9. Probably Everton. 8th Aston Villa, 7th Arsenal, 6th Spurs, and 5th Leicester.
Yeah, but Dolly only works from 9 to 5. That's the problem, you know.
We'll move swiftly on to the top 4 because we're trying to squeeze a lot in here. So my top 4, I don't think you're going to like it.
I'm going to despise because I seen it there a minute ago. But
make the lip face. Yeah. So I have gone for 4th Liverpool, 3 Man United, 2 Man City, and I've gone with Chelsea to win the league.
Wow, okay.
I don't usually back Chelsea, but I think after getting Lukaku, after securing him, I'm very, very confident, and I think that's a very bad thing to be confident because then you get arrogant, and that is dangerous as well because then you get bantered by Royal fans like Adam.
And then you see the problem with setting yourself up like that is you just set yourself up for failure, isn't it? That's the only problem with it. You know what? I don't think it's an awful. I don't think. Look, I'm not going to complete this graveyard because we have the same teams in top 4, just in a different order. Like,
what have you gone with?
Mine's United, Chelsea, Liverpool, City. I think City win the league.
Yeah.
And I hate picking the obvious. But if Kane goes to City, it's done. Like, there's no.
I think there's
stopping. Like,
there's a lot of hype around those transfers, though, and that's what I would say is City. I think will have a very good season, but I don't know. I just don't know, Jeff.
I don't know, Jeff. I don't want to again. Like, I mean, what is a very good season for City without winning the league?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean.
But what's a very good season for Chelsea without winning the league at this stage?
Well, I thought last season was very good. Chelsea.
It was
very good season with Chelsea.
Well, that was last season.
No, but I'm just saying. You have to compare it to
Liverpool won the Champions League and then they won the league the following season. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you have to. No, you do. You have to build on it, and I think first of all we'll be talking about top scorers in a minute. Like, I do think if the move goes through, if it is, I think it is going through. I think Lukaku will be top scorer. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Chelsea won the league, because Chelsea's top scorer last season was Jorginho at 7. I think United will have a good season, but as long as Ollie's in the job, you know what I mean. They won't win anything. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know about Ollie.
No, I see the way we're talking about Arteta and saying, you know, he's out of his depth or whatever. I think Ollie's the same. personally, and look, I'll probably get a lot of slander for that. But
I think it's true though. A lot of people agree. Like I think every team, every person who supports a different club agrees with that.
Yeah.
It's just Man United.
Like every club, every fan of an opposition club to United wants Ollie to stay.
And people think it's out of spite that we don't like him. No. But it's not that at all. I just don't think he has the tools needed for that job.
I just don't think. Look, I mean, as long as Liverpool, Chelsea, and City,
I can't wait till they go ahead and win the league.
No, they won't. As long as Liverpool, Chelsea, and City are as good as they are, they won't win anything.
Yeah.
That's like look at they're relying on Matic in midfield.
Yeah.
It's either Matic, Max Sauce, or Fred. I don't want to sound mean. They have great going forward. They have Bruno, Pogba, Sancho, Rashford. Like that's great. I'm not saying it's not great, but like I mean,
they need a CDM.
They need another midfielder, and they could do another two maybe to build the squad around.
Do it another manager.
They could. Yeah, just getting back to Liverpool, I just think we're going right under the radar. We are, and I'm delighted with that. I am delighted with that because when you go under the radar, you're not setting yourself up for failure.
No.
You know what I mean? You're not setting yourself up to like when we go through the preseason that we've gone through. I'm not expecting massive things this season.
No,
and it's not for lack of like Jurgen Klopp. I do think Jurgen's best manager in the league. I do believe that, and I think players like Van Dijk, Gomez coming back. Like I mean, I said it last week and I'll say it again. We finished third in the league with Barney Rubble and Fred Flintstone centre half. You know what I mean? That's a thing that happened. Like, so give us our two best centre halves. You know what I mean? Let's hope Thiago gets fit and firing. Konate's there for cover. I just think if things go the way we want them to go, it could be Liverpool and City. You know what I mean?
I think one thing that favours them as well is the fans back in Anfield, massively.
Absolutely.
So
that's 18 points there.
Yeah,
we lost 18 points from Anfield last season.
So
6 losses.
It is. They're going under the radar, as you said. One thing I would question, and that's why I put them fourth, is that front three.
Yeah, lack of depth.
And also, is the squad doesn't need a bit of a rebuild, because it does look,
I wouldn't say,
a bit leggy now at this stage. And I think in terms of, just let me finish.
No, go on.
In terms of depth to the squad, I don't know if they have enough to compete with the likes of City and Chelsea. Because if you look at Chelsea's bench, if you look at City's bench, you have the likes of Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi,
don't bring up Hudson-Odoi.
You'd have Reece James maybe on the bench. So many good. Ziyech will probably be on the bench. So many good players on the bench. It's almost like they have two squads now at this point. With Liverpool,
I agree to an extent, but if you like, Liverpool's midfield options is stronger than Chelsea's. I firmly believe that. Like, and I think Chelsea will have the advantage in the attack position with Lukaku because he's one of the best strikers in the world. But we have Salah, Mane. Like that's how we compact Gilles. No, but just to get back to like, if we compare like Liverpool's keepers with Chelsea's keepers, and this is why I have Liverpool ahead of Chelsea. Alisson's better than Mendy.
This is where I end this segment because I don't agree with that either.
Let me finish. Where did Liverpool finish in the Premier League last season? Where'd they finish? Where'd they finish?
This is a proper time.
Where did they finish? Where did Liverpool finish? Third. Where did Chelsea finish?
Fourth.
There we go.
Focus on the Champions League.
Case closed. This is going to be an awful letter.
It is going to be an awful letter. Well, name this top four before I have another argument. So, your top four, Adam.
Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool and City to win the league.
My top four is Liverpool, Man United, Man City and Chelsea. We'll move on to our top scorer, player of the season, and
we'll just run through. We don't even discuss these, will we? We just like wrap them out. I think if Chelsea get Lukaku will be top scorer.
Yeah.
I just think it's a great goal scorer. Like I think he's upped his game as well. All this chat about him, like even at United he wasn't good or Everton, he was great for Everton. He was Man United's top scorer when he was with United, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He went to Inter, won the league and stuff, so I think Lukaku will be top scorer if he goes to Chelsea.
Le Belgique.
Yeah, Belgium as well, yeah. But they haven't won anything, Belgium.
No.
Serial bottlers.
My top scorer is going to be Harry Kane. I think it's a reliable choice.
Safe bet, yeah.
We're both saying he's going to City.
Yeah.
But I don't know. City don't really. They're not showing interest, at least from what I see in the tweets.
True.
So I don't know. That's up in the air. But I'm just gonna go for Kane. It's a reliable option.
I think Kane will push him move through.
I think he'll pass him.
I think he'll push a move through. I think that's what will happen.
Yeah.
What about your player of the year?
Player of the year. I'm gonna piss Adam off even more here. I'm gonna say Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno Fernandes.
I think he had a very good pre-season again. He gets plenty of assists, he gets plenty of goals. I don't think it's a bad show, personally.
No, I don't think it's a bad show. He is a great player. He is a very good player.
Who's your player of the year?
My player of the year is Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I've seen him in pre-season. And I don't know what happened with England. I think we talked about Southgate briefly. He's a bit of a fucking idiot. But I just think he can... During pre-season, he looks like he's after going from a boy into a man. Like he's after putting on a lot of like muscle and sort of stuff like that. And I just think...
Sure it wasn't a few Burger Kings like Hazard?
No, it wasn't. He actually had muscles on his arm. Not flabs like Hazard. No, but the last season was completely thrown out of proportion. He was nowhere near as bad as what people said he was, and the whole fucking fact that he was playing with two bleeding young fellas from the academy doesn't really help. Well, I just think the amount of assists he gets, the amount of goals he gets.
Is Nat Phillips still on Liverpool now?
He is, yeah. And to be fair to Nat, he was great. He was great last season. But I think if you have a choice between Nat Phillips and even if it's Virgil van Dijk with one leg, I'm going with Virgil van Dijk.
Really?
Yeah. But yeah, I think Trent could have a good season. Probably player of the year, probably a stretch. But I couldn't really think
It is a stretch, that's what I was thinking.
I couldn't think of anyone when we said it, so I just put his name down. But if City were to win the league, I suppose Kane would get it, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
They love Harry Kane.
It's going to be weird to see Kane in the City jersey.
I know.
Anyway, Kai Havertz I've gone for a young player of the season. I don't think this is a bad shout. I think last season he was adapting a bit to the league. Makes lovely runs. Obviously Champions League final goal scorer as well. I think he gets a lot of stick. He got a lot of stick last season. I think people are starting to realise his potential. He has a favourable shout to get young player of the season, especially if he bangs in a few goals. And we'll see what happens.
I don't think it's a bad shout, to be fair. I think Havertz, he's a bit of a like, he prances around sometimes if he doesn't care. That's one thing I don't particularly like about him. You know, he's good touch, he's good pass, he obviously can score goals. But I just think his work rate is something he probably needs to work on. But look at come here, he got the winner in Champions League final. You can't say much.
I just hope he's woken up a bit from his slumber.
He does look like a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
He does look like he's going to sleep.
He looks like me after coming out of the bed and I go onto the football pitch trying to play without me coffee.
I think he'll have a good season. If he's up front with Lukaku, it could be good.
And your young player of the season? Do you want to say this one?
Yeah, it probably won't happen because I have Norwich. Do I have Norwich? No, I don't have Norwich go down. Yeah, I think Billy Gilmore could be young player of the year. I think he has every bit of potential to do it. But he put in a good few performances for Scotland. Can't get into Chelsea's team, which surprises me. But he should do a job for Norwich, and I think if he does a good enough job, then he'll force him. So they won't have a choice but to play him at Chelsea. Yeah. I was surprised when he got loaned out, to be honest.
I was as well. I'd love to have him for debt, but I think a loan move would be good for him as well to get a bit of game time.
Yeah. So
hopefully he starts for him. I think he will.
He'll mature. He'll definitely mature by moving away, and it's good that it's not a championship team, because if it was, you wouldn't want the false hope that Tammy gave you, and even Tomori to an extent.
So that is our Premier League predictions. Do you want to read out your 9-1?
Yeah.
You're half of Dolly Parton. 9-1.
Would that be not like a double Dolly Parton? A double Dolly? So again, Spurs 9th, Leeds 8th, Villa 7th, Leicester 6th, Arsenal 5th, United 4th, Chelsea 3rd, Liverpool 2nd, and Manchester City to finish top of the beans.
Alright, so my number 8 is Aston Villa. My number 7 is Arsenal. 6 will be Spurs. 5th will be Leicester. 4th will be Liverpool. 3rd will be Man United. 2nd will be Man City, and 1st will be Chelsea. So
I like the optimism, I have to say. I do respect it.
I just set myself up for failure. That's what I'm doing. So we'll read out a few of your
Yeah,
predictions.
we got a few shouts from people this week because, as we said, we're gonna get it out for fancy football. But I mean, it's hard to put a full fucking 11 into the thing. 15 players, is it 14 players?
Yeah.
So we just said a few Premier League predictions. So we have a shout from Nathan who's saying Brentford stay up. Agree with that. Villa to compete for Europa League, and judging by us, we agree with that. And he said Liverpool to have a poor season. Again, could easily happen. Premier League's a good league, you know what I mean? Jer said Arsenal to finish bottom half. Oh, I think that's a bit of a mad shout, to be honest. He said same top 4 and very clear 5th. So he reckons the top 4 will be same as last year. So City, Liverpool, Chelsea, United, and they'll be just the 4 of them will just be much better than the rest of the league. Which again, I actually see that. I think that's a very valuable point. I do think that'll happen. And he also has Chelsea as champions.
Yeah.
So there could be something in the water around this area. Yeah, Southampton to finish bottom as well. And we have we both have Southampton finishing the relegation.
I was just about to say there's lead in the water.
We have Lame saying Spurs to finish above Arsenal. I think that's a bit of a mad one, to be honest with you. I think Spurs.
I said it as well.
I know, but I just think if Spurs lose Kane, you know what I mean? You might as well play fucking 6 at the back and 4 midfield.
Sonny's though.
He's going to score, yeah.
Sonny.
Sonaldo, yeah.
They're playing him up front at the moment.
Eno says Brentford to win 3-0 against Arsenal. Put the gaff on it. I probably will put the gaff on it, to be honest.
Toney,
we'll go half. I mean, we'll just buy a house and then just put it on it. No, I do think Brentford. I think Brentford will stump Arsenal, to be honest. Although I do think Arsenal will go on to have a good season. And Connell says Danny Ings to have 20 goals and Grealish to flop.
Yeah, Grealish. It's the big price tag that worries me for him, because we see players that are just under a bit too much pressure. But I think with Grealish though, he's quite good on the ball, so I think he should be alright. Well,
a lot of English people are comparing him to Iniesta, which is ridiculous. Like,
let's not get into that.
No, not at all. But I do think with the high standards City set themselves up with, will he be able to reach them? Who knows? I think he will. But yeah, it could be a good or a bad season for him, to be honest. We don't know.
Yeah. Get it out.
The acclaimed, get it out.
The acclaimed, the Hollywood acclaimed.
Once upon a time in Hollywood.
Starting Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio
and Ivan Toney
and Casper Schmeichel. Anyway,
do you want to read your team out first? We got a lot of questions about this, by the way. We have a league set up. We have a league set up, and we will put it live. Well, I've already sent it to a few people. We will put it live on the Instagram for people to join. It's called Sex on the Beach Loyal. Shout out to me, Maz, for the Sex on the Beach. So we're gonna read out our team. Do you want to go first, or will I go first?
Sure. I'll fire away.
Go for it.
So
what's your team name first, actually?
My team name is Revive Monaghan FC. Shout out to the podcast last week.
And every week, by the sounds of it.
And shout out to Senan. We need to get our shout out to Senan. So in goal, I've gone for young Casper, not so young Casper, but Casper Schmeichel. I thought he had a fantastic Euros, 5 million. That's a bargain. In defence, I've gone for Daniel Amarte,
and he probably will play because of
as I said, this is a bit of a cheat code because he's 4 million or something. The cheapest defender you can get is 4 million, Christ. And he is going to start against Wolves. I've gone for Johnny Stones. I think a bit of a bargain, 5.5 million.
Money can't buy you Stones.
I've gone for James, Reece James. He's playing Crystal Palace. And I've gone for Kai Havertz as my captain.
Wow.
Bit of bold, but he's
very
playing
bold.
He's playing Crystal Palace as well. Obviously you can't get Lukaku yet, so I've gone for Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes and Mo Salah. I think they'll have great seasons.
You have Grealish.
I have Grealish, a bit of spice. And then I've got Mopé.
Neil Mopé, you're a disgrace, Neil Mopé. First of all, I want to say Black Lives Matter up the what did I say? Up the NHS. But Neil Mopé, you're a disgrace, Neil Mopé. Oh, shout out to Toy. I'm gonna put that video on the post. You know that? That's a fucking cracking video. Sorry, continue.
Neil Mopé, Ivan Toney, who is the fucking figurehead of this podcast.
What a man.
I've got Jimenez.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Who I think will have a very good season. And then for the meme, I've gone for Runnerson in my substitute goalkeeper. Ben Godfrey of the Everton. Rocky.
We didn't even talk about Everton there. That shows how shut they are. I was looking at their starting 11. They actually could have a really good starting 11 next season.
Possibly.
But they're brutal.
Possibly so, as Kenny Cunningham would say.
Possibly.
I
don't know what you're talking about.
I've gone for Billy Gilmore, who was only 4 million.
Billy Goatmore,
sorry, I had to refer to him.
Come on.
And I've gone for Tierney of Arsenal, who I think will have.
I like it.
I really like Kieran Tierney, so I put him in.
I do as well, I have to say. He's a very good player, isn't he?
Yeah, and he has a good head on good shoulders.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no Leeds players, I think.
that is my 15 players. Leeds, I completely forgot Leeds existed, to be honest.
Leeds. The Leeds are falling apart again. To be fair, we're reading these out on Monday. This will be different by Thursday for me, anyways.
No, it won't be for me.
Oh, you're going to stick with this?
Yeah, so I usually just pick depending on who's playing. So that would be a tip of mine. Just whoever they're playing, put a different player in. I'd usually make a transfer every week. Yeah. But we'll go ahead with yours, Adam.
Well, my team, so I'm going with a staunch 4-4-2. Shout out to Neil Warnock. I have Emiliano Martinez in goal. I have João Cancelo, Cresswell, Azure and Chilwell as the back four. I have Mohamed Salah, Riyad Mahrez, Dele Alli. He's going to have a cracking season. What's the man's name? Jadon Sancho. I have Danny Ings and I have Ivan Toney up front. Ivan Toney, I'm going to triple captain him on Friday against the Arsenal. I have on the bench, I have Ben Foster. Did you ever see him, the cycling goal kick? That's a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Bit of a weirdo. I have Robin Koch. I mean, what a name. I have Jack Harrison and I have, of course, Divock Origi. And my team name is 2 Girls 1 Klopp.
2 Girls 1 Klopp. Brilliant. Enough spoof. I think we've talked enough spoof there.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you for listening to episode 4 of the Onlyfanz Football Podcast, The Ivan Toney.
I think it's the first podcast that we've had the name of it before we've done it, which is, I think, is a nice thing.
Yeah. Very romantic.
Considering we wouldn't be here without Ivan Toney.
Thank you to all my family. Thank you to all my friends, and thank you to Ivan Toney.
Thank you to Bacon Brew Coffee, who helped us out this week by giving us coffee. It was probably why we were arguing, to be fair.
They actually brought over a full barrel of coffee just for the podcast.
Just for us, like.
Fair play to them.
Well, do you know what? Next time I'm over, I genuinely might get her to ask her to sponsor us, you know? Because she wasn't impressed when I said I had a podcast. She was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be €15. Oh, God.
Right.
Anyways, thanks for listening. I hope you've enjoyed. And enjoy the Premier League. It's coming back. Try and get yourself down to a League of Ireland game. And anything else, Dad?
Thank you very much, Mimos, for following us on Instagram. I'll see you all next... Or, sorry, not me. We will see you all next week.
We're a couple of jokers. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Oh.